Today we're talking about the cage that I'm using for this guy, the Sony A7S III. This one right here. My name is Chris. I'm a part-time content creator. I make a bunch of different things, but I shoot with Sony cameras. So if you're into that, maybe click the subscribe button down below. Otherwise don't, and we'll get on with the video. And at the end of the video, I'm giving away 2 of these SmallRig cages, so stick around for that. So first things first, why do you want to add a big cage to your little tiny mirrorless camera? Well, for me, there's 2 big reasons. And the main one is if I want to attach things like a monitor, I also want to attach a power bank, a behind the scenes camera, a mic. I really can't do that with just the hot shoe on the top there. So that is a big reason. This has a lot more mounting points on it. The other reason is I like to shoot a lot of handheld with something like the Sigma 24-70. So I like a bit of a heavier setup. This adds a little bit of weight, a little bit of bulk, and it means if I'm shooting handheld, things are a little less jerky. They're a little bit more stable because it's a heavier setup. So for me, that's the 2 reasons why I like to use a cage. Now, I'm not gonna be using it for everything. There's definitely a time and a place, but when I do want to use it, this is what I'm using. Just got to put a little marker so I know where my middle is. Where are we? We are right there. That's my middle. So first up is the full cage itself. This is part number 2999. Give you the overhead shot there. Nice design feature of this. On the bottom, they magnetically attach all the tools you'll need to put this together. So this is a really funky shaped Allen key. You'll see why in a second. So the first thing you'll want to do is remove the little tiny screw right here, which is an Allen key. And the reason for that, you will see in a second. This is a really nice design feature. Pop the cage in. Oh, and you're going to want to take off the strap bracket on the right side there. You'll see why in a second. Use the Allen key to screw this guy in using the flat part, the flat head. Let's add some music here. Give me a lot of this waiting around while I'm putting it together. So let's add some music. Okay, so now you're gonna see what this little bit here is for. So this tiny little screw, is it lined up? Yeah, it is. You see right there, hopefully you can see that, there's a little tiny screw there. And the reason for that is if you just use the bit on the bottom here, you might find over time it gets a little bit looser. So this little screw basically means it can't swivel this way. So really nice design feature, just screw that in there. Yes, it's a bit of a pain to take it apart, but for the most part, you're gonna be using this rig for a day or a couple of days. So just prep it in advance, and then when you don't need it back in this, you take it out. So that is on now, and it can't move around inside the camera cage there. Obviously with the flip screen, works nicely. You can use it still inside the cage there. So the next thing we're gonna put on is a handle. Now there's 2 options for handles here. This is a solid metal one. This is the SmallRig Nato 1955 if you wanna go with that option, but I'm actually gonna be using this one right here. So then this one is the SmallRig 2362. So this is the one they're actually gonna be using. But to be able to mount it to the top there, I need a little tiny Nato rail. So we're gonna be adding on one of those, which is this guy right here. So you can pretty much mount this wherever you want. I'm gonna put it slap bang in the middle there, and it just uses little tiny Allen bolts. Let's put this back on the bottom so we don't lose that. Around. So for this, we're going to need the SmallRig tool. Very useful little tool there. Pop you on. Nice and tight for this. We don't want it coming loose. Okay. Once that's on there, this just unloosens, or loosens, sorry, doesn't unloosen, and then tightens back up again. So you can just put that right in the middle there. And now that is attached. 2362 for this handle. Nice thing about this is wooden on the bottom there. So I'm in my basement, but this feels pretty cold, but then this really doesn't. It's nice and warm there, so that's good. And this can rotate as well. I also didn't mention that on the side here, there is an Allen key magnetically attached in there. So if you need to remove this for whatever reason or loosen it off, you can do so. Okay, so next up is it's called a SmallRig monitor mount with RE locating pins. So 2174 for this guy. Now, on the bottom here, you'll see there's a big hole and then there's little tiny holes. So that's what the RE locating pins are for. You can either put it that way or that way. Once it's screwed in, it means it's not gonna accidentally be off to the angle or anything like that. It's literally gonna go at 90 degrees, whichever way you want it. So let's put it like this. And a little tip for this, I did find this gets quite loose, so what I did was, just angle it down a second, just put an Allen key in, and then just use that to twist, just to give you a little bit of extra tightness. Okay, so now we have our cage with our handle and then our monitor mount on the top now. Now typically this is where I'd use my Ninja 5. I'm using it right now, it's in a cage. I will throw some B-roll over the top to show you what that looks like. If you want the Ninja 5 cage that goes around it, the part number for that is 2209. It definitely adds a bit of bulk to it, but it still gives you a bunch more mounting points. There's also an HDMI clamp on there as well, which is a really nice, useful feature. So let's just add my backup monitor right now, which is the Portkeys P6. Just screws directly into the bottom there, and you see that just spins around. And you can adjust the tightness of this with the Allen keys on the back. Screw that in. Oh, it's starting to become a bit front heavy, so I'm actually gonna add my lens right now, just to give me some support. Sigma 24-70. Been using this lens a ton recently, and I'm really actually starting to quite like it. I liked it before when I got a loaner, but I've bought it myself now, and it's proving to be the lens I really need for everything, and I'm not finding myself using my primes as much. I'm sure I'll go back to them, but right now I'm really loving this. Next up we have the HDMI clamp, which is part number 3000. It's this little guy here. It's gonna screw right into the side of the cage just here, and we've got this nice little thin HDMI cable from SmallRig as well. So the cable is part number 2956, so it's a 35 centimeter long HDMI cable. Obviously you have a full HDMI port in the A7S III now. You'll see what happens is, once this is screwed in, it literally just bites on that, and that way it can't accidentally come out. So let's open the door for the HDMI port. Nice flaps on this. Love the flaps on this camera now. So you just want to screw that in a little bit, then plug your HDMI cable in, get it to exactly where you want it. Now bite down on that part there. Just get it so it's nice and flush. It's a bit fiddly, kind of hard to see. And you'll see right there, now it's kind of jammed in there, but it's held in there nice and tight and it cannot come out. And then that cable will very nicely reach just to my HDMI in. Does work very well with the Ninja 5 as well. Plug that in there, and there's no excess cable you have to thread around or anything like that. Obviously you can use a bigger cable if you want to, but my preference is to just have it neat and tidy, and that does look pretty much as neat and tidy as you possibly could get it. So next up we have an L bracket, and I typically like to put these on all of my cameras just because they're normally A7SIII. This is the one that SmallRig has, but it's quite small, as you can see there. I've taken off the side, so it's almost just like a base plate, and it's A7SIII, so I'm just gonna put this on the bottom here just to give me a mounting point for my tripods. Use the little tool that they gave to screw it in. I normally try and get this as close to the middle as I can. That felt like it bent then, but it didn't. Back on there. So now we have on the bottom, if you can see, that's now going to be my mounting plate. Okay, so we have A7SIII on the bottom for all my tripods. So next up we have the handle. Now, you don't have to add a handle if you don't want to. I like to add a handle because if I'm gripping the camera, I really don't want to have to grip it around the cable, the flap sticking out there. It's kind of annoying. So you can add a handle if you want to as well. The grip on this is already really nice, so I have solid, or something solid to hold on to on this side. I just like to have a handle as well. So this handle is called the SmallRig wooden Nato side handle, part number 2187. I've used this before. It's completely adjustable. If you want to have this so it goes further down, you just loosen the two Allen keys, bolts on the side here, and then this can slide down. But for me, I'm just gonna be attaching to the little part of the side of the cage here, which is a Nato rail too. Now I'll slide on there like that, tighten this up, and there you go. That's on there now. So now I have a full handle. It's nice and solid, nice and stable. You can tuck the cable down there. I could make this a little bit higher if I wanted to. Hide that cable, you know what, let's do that. The cable's now hidden down the side, just like that. So there we go. And now we have one more thing to add, and that is this contraption right here. So this is, what do they call this? This is called the SmallRig articulating arm with double ball double ball heads. 1/4 inch screw, part number 2070, so 2070. And this is really good actually. So it's like a magic arm almost, but it's really stable. Like, it's strong. So what I would use this for is for BTS. So Insta360 typically like to use this a lot for shooting behind the scenes. I can reframe it after the fact, or if I want to just add the 1-inch mod to get a nice high quality video, I can. So just screw that on there, and you'll see on here that there is holes. So again, if you find that it's not tightening up enough for you, you can just pop your Allen key into the hole there and then use that to tighten it up. And then with this, I can just mount it to one of the threads on here. Probably don't have that in the frame for you. And yeah, it's a bit obnoxious. Like, it's a little bit over the top, but I'm not always shooting behind the scenes, but if I want to, this is how I do it. And then what I typically do is loosen this off to the side and just have it maybe kind of like that. It really doesn't matter with the Insta360 where it's facing, because you can reframe it after the fact anyway. So I just try and have it out of the way so I can still see the monitor. I can now shoot handheld. If you want to really get me in it as well, I'd hold it out like this, but otherwise I can just shoot like this. I have full 360 or 180 view going this way, so I can just reframe that after the fact. Go into like Tiny Planet mode to show a really big zoomed out version. Very useful for BTS. So there we go, A7S III rigged up, good to go. Really firm with the cage on this side with the grip. Nice big chunky handle there for holding it. If I want to just move in to be able to control the 2470 and view the screen, works really well there. 360 camera on the side. I could put a mic on the side here if I wanted to. I'm not going to bother right now, but I could. So yeah, really like this setup. If you want to be in for a chance of winning one of these A7S III cages from SmallRig, all I need you to do, let's get out of the shot. All I need you to do is subscribe to me on this channel, like this video, pop a comment down below, anything you want, doesn't matter, tell a joke. Whatever it is you want, as long as it's positive, I don't care. And follow me on Instagram, and I'll announce the winner in about 2 weeks. Let's say 2 weeks from today, and that's how I'll let you know, through Instagram, so make sure you are following me. That's that. SmallRig will send you the cage directly. Thank you, SmallRig, for putting those up for people to win. All right, that'll do. Appreciate you watching today. Yeah, take care. See you later. Damn it. Just dropped battery in this camp. In fact, stay tuned in like a month to figure out what it is or to see what I'm doing with these. All right, see you later. Let's go this way this time.